Okay, guys, let's start discuss about the types of variables in Java. See, generally in Java class there are five elements. Okay, we have to focus on these five elements. So first thing is variables, variables, methods, constructors, instance block, and static block. Here the function is actually called methods in Java. Okay, so when it comes to variables, you know very well that variables are used to store some value, okay, which will be later used in the project. For example, if you're working on an employee project, you may suppose to create a variable in the name of employee id, employee name, employee designation, and employee salary, and assign some value for it. Okay, and later on utilize the value in the program. Similarly, when you're working on a student project, variable name will be like student id, student name, student mark. This is very common. Okay, so variable declaration and initiation of value to the variable is very common in a program. Okay, so it's very essential in Java as well. There are three types of variables. So it's called like local variable, instance variable, and static variable in Java. Okay, so how to declare a variable? So you know variable well that you have to give the data type and name of the variable, and then assign a value to the variable. Okay, here yeah, there is an integer variable. Here there is a float variable. You can also declare a character variable. Okay, you can also declare a boolean type of variable. All these types are called primitive types. All these kind of variables are called primitive types, and the variable declared using this primitive data type are called primitive type variable. I'm talking about the in, character, float. Okay, these are all primitive type. So the variable declared using this type of variables are called primitive type variables. So in oops object oriented programming concept, you will be creating a class. Okay, and then inside the class only you are going to use all the elements, and you will be creating an instance to the class, that is an object to the class. Okay, this is very common in oops, you would have learned in C++ as well. Similarly in Java also you will be creating a class. After creating the class, after assigning all the necessary elements inside the class, we will be creating an object. For creating an object, the name of the object is a reference variable. See, suppose there is an employee class. Suppose there is an employee class. There will be a reference variable you are supposed to assign. You may give any name of the variable that is called. Suppose I'm giving E. Suppose for student class I'm giving a variable S. Okay, so this is actually called object. Okay, now E is a reference variable of employee type. That is a class type which you are given. Yeah, S is a reference variable of student class. That is student type. So here the type itself, the class, the data type itself is class which you are declared. So it's called class type variables. And also you can also create a array like integer array, string array. The name of the variable is A, name of the variable is B. These are called array type variables. That is also common in Java. Okay, so these are all different way how to declare a variable. And now when I talk about the different types of variable like local variable, instance variable, static variable. Now let me discuss about the local variable. So the variable which are declared inside the method, inside the method or a constructor or block is called local variable. Okay, so in every Java program, we start with class is a keyword and test is a name I have given to the class. You can give any name. In other programming language like C or C++, you would have seen main function, void main. But here in Java, it's something somewhat lengthy, like public static void main string array args. There is a reason behind why it is lengthy that can be discussed later. So now public static void main string array args is a main method. Okay, within this main method, you are declaring a variable. Okay, and you are assessing that variable. Okay, so this variable declared inside the main method is called local variable. Okay, not only main method, the variable declared inside any method is called local variable. Not only method, even in constructor, even in any blocks, that is called local variable. Okay, so the scope of the variable is For example, here you have a class name is faculty. See, any name you can give. I'm just giving some example here. I'm creating a method. The method name is m1. Inside the method, I declare two variables and assessing the two variable. So these two methods are local variable. So these two variables are local variable. Declare inside a method and assess inside the method. Suppose if I am trying to assess the same variable to some other method, okay, this is another method. Void m2 is another method. Here I'm trying to access this variable means that is not possible. It is out of the scope. Okay. So a local variable will be declared inside the method and it can be assessed inside the same method itself. That is the scope of the variable. Here there is another example where a main method is having a variable declaration and can be assessed inside the main method. Even a main method variable also cannot be used in other method. Okay, so local variable means whether it is a main method, whether it is a normal method, the particular variable declared inside and initialized can be assessed only by that method. That is the scope of the variable. So what is memory allocation? See, generally when a variable is declared and assign a value to it, doesn't mean that it is stored in the memory. Okay, the variable will be declared inside a method. We will assign some value to the variable. Still, it doesn't occupy any space in the memory. When that particular method is called in the program later, by that time only the memory is allocated inside the RAM. When that particular method is executed completely, then the memory is released. Okay, so when the memory is allocated to a particular variable, when the particular method in which the variable is declared is called for the execution, by the time only memory is allocated. Once that things are completed, the memory is released. This is the important thing you should know. In the memory, in the particular memory area, there is a particular place called stack memory. This is the place where the memory space is allocated for the local variable. Okay, so where the memory is stored in stack memory. Fine. Now let us discuss a small example. See, before you are doing something hands-on in Java, you can use any IDE like Eclipse, NetBeans, IntelliJ, anything. Even Visual Studio also you can use. And one thing you have to do is first go to this website. Okay, so download Java Development Kit. Okay, this is an official website, Oracle website. You can go and you can download Java Development Kit. This is Java Development Kit. Yeah, it came to many version has been improved to 26 till it has 26 version. You can install anything depends upon the OS which is there in your laptop. Based on that you can see the options here. Okay, you can install mostly in Windows. Many are using only 64-bit, so this particular link can be downloaded and you can install. It's just next procedure only, just install. Java Development Kit has to be installed in your system, and then only you can use any IDE to write a code and edit the code. Okay, in my system already I installed Java Development Kit, very older version only. It's up to your wish. You can install any version. Now I am going to use this Visual Studio Code only. So I created a separate folder. Okay, I just open a separate folder for working on this Java. So I created a separate folder. Right now the folder is empty only. Okay, I just create a separate folder. So here there is an option to create a new file, right? Just click that. Give any name. Test.java. The extension should be Java. Give any name. Okay, the moment I give by default I'm getting a class name, and along with that by default I'm getting. See, this is a place where I'm going to write my first Java code. Generally any programming language they'll be writing that hello world code, no? Similar to that I'm going to write. First thing is create a main method. Whenever you are using a entering in the class, when you want to do something, first the main method is very important because that is a place where the JVM is going to start execution. So public static void main string array args. This is a main method. Okay, inside that I'm going to print a statement like hello world. Okay, for that I'm using system.out.println. System.out.println, that I can use it. Okay, so now within the quote I'm just mentioning hello world. Okay, that's all. Now control S, the program is saved as test.java. Okay, now how to compile this? For compile this, see, you can press this run button, you can click here, you can press this run button, that are not fine, it will automatically compile, it will give the output. But there is a procedure in Java. The last video I have explained how the Java environment is actually working. The Java file, that the .java file, when it is compiled, it will be converted into .class file. Okay, that .class file will be loaded into the memory by the JVM. Okay, and a bytecode verifier will be there that will verify the .class file, and then only it will interpret that. These are all the things we have discussed earlier, sir. The same thing I am going to follow here. Just Java C. Just I am going to use Java C is a compiler. Okay, the class name is test dot. Sorry, the file name is test.java. Now I'm compiling. Okay, there is no error. It will move to the next stage. So you can notice here the .java file is converted into .class file. Can you see test.class? Earlier it was not there. Now how to run this code? Java, just which class you want to run? Test class. So test. Now you can see the output here. Hello world. This is the very first program how to execute a Java code. Okay, let me clear this. I will start discussing about this local variable. Okay, so let it be. Now I am creating a new class here. New class here. You can give any name to the class. There's your wish. And creating a method here. Void m1 is a method name. Okay, method means function. Void m1. In the method, I'm declaring a variable that is a local variable. Integer a is equal to 10 is a local variable. Integer b is equal to 20 is a local variable. Got it? Now I'm going to use add these two variables and I'm going to print. So for printing, the output statement system.out.println. Okay, that's used here. Just a plus b. That's all that I'm going to do here. Okay. Now inside a method, I have declared the variable and I assign some value to the variable. Doesn't mean that the memory is allocated, as I told before. Now what you have to do, the method has to be called for execution. For calling a method from one class to other class, okay, for calling you have to create a object. That object can be created only in the main method. Main method is there in a class called test. There I'm just, I don't know, I don't need this. Now I'm going to create a class, sorry, object. So for this faculty class, so faculty is the name of the class. For that I'm creating a reference variable. Any variable name I'm giving f equal to new is the keyword which is actually going to create the object. Okay, and then constructor. This is the step for creating a object. This is a step for creating an object. Okay, this whole step has to be followed. So this is a reference variable. Okay, for this particular faculty class. Now f is a reference variable actually of faculty type, but end of the day this is an object. F is the object here. Okay, I can call any object of this faculty class inside the main method using the object only. So f dot m1. M1 is a method name. Okay, now actually I call this method into the main method. Always an execution start from the main method. Okay, for calling a m1 method into this main method, definitely I need to create an object of the particular class and then I will call. Now control S, you save it. Now the expected output is a plus b is equal to 30. It has to be given in the output. Now let us compile this Java C in the terminal. Java C is a compiler. The class name is, sorry, there is error. Okay. Java C class name is, file name is test dot java. So no errors. So we can see this particular program having two class, right? Test class and faculty class. So two different class files are created for faculty also, for test also. Okay. So generally, out of this, say how many classes are there in the program? That many class files will be created. Which particular class files you want to execute? That alone you can execute. Generally, the class file which is having main method will be executed because the execution will start from the main method only. No. So I'm going to execute the test class because there the main method is available. Now when I click that, it's going to call the method m1. In the method m1, the local variable contents are there. That will be displaying the output. Your output is 30. Got it? It called the m1 method. The main method created the object. With an object is called the m1 method. M1 method is having variable a, b, and addition here of a plus b. The output is 30. You got it here. Okay, this is how a local variable will be executed. And see, suppose I'm creating another method, void m2. Okay, I'm creating another method, void m2. And inside this method, I am trying to access this same a plus b. So this is local variable. This is local variable. Okay, this is also local variable because with that is inside the method, right? I'm trying to access that same a b, the same a and b to another method that is called void m2. Okay, now I'm going to call this method as well in the main method f dot m2. Save this, control s. Okay, now let's compile and see. Java the file name is test dot java. Okay, it shows error. It shows error in the class faculty 20th page number, I mean line number 20. Can you see? Line number 20, line number 20, error cannot find symbol a plus b. So in line number 20, this part cannot be accepted. Okay, cannot be accepted. That is a problem here because there is no variable declared for this a plus b. We are trying to access a variable which is declared in another method. So the scope of the variable or the local variable is only within the method where it is declared. If I'm trying to access to some other method, the same variable is not possible. It's showing error. Cannot find the symbol that a plus b. That is error here. Okay. Suppose if I give a separate uh, variable to this, so integer x is equal to 100, integer y is equal to 200, and now I'm going to add x plus y. Okay, control s. Let me clear this. Let me see. Now you can see in this particular class, two methods are there. Two methods having their own local variable. Okay, and it's assessing their own local variable. Now I'm calling these two method inside the main method. Okay, by getting an object. Okay, so when I compile this java c test.java, now it's compiled without an error. There are two class files. See, it will be overwritten. Every time when I'm comparing, the existing content in the class files will be overwritten. Faculty.class and test.class. There are two classes. I'm going to execute only the test.class because that is the place where main method is there. So only the main method JVM will going to execute. So for running that Java test, that is a test.class. Enter. I'm getting the output 30, 300. Got it. So this is what how to use a local variable, a sample code for that. Okay. Now I will move on to the next set of things. So, before going to instance variable, so far we discussed local variable. We have seen an example, practical example. So let us discuss about the instance variable. There are some in Java program we can highlight the program with some areas, instance area and static area. Generally, see when you're declaring a method, no void m1. This method is an instant method. When you're declaring method like this, the method is an instance method. The body of the method is called instance area. Please keep this in mind. When I'm declaring a method, this is an instant method. The body of the method is called instance area. Okay. Similarly, if I declare a method with static keyword, then the method is called static method. The body of that method is called static area. Guys, take this into consideration. Okay. When I declare a method with a static keyword, then only it is a static method. The body of that particular static method is static area. So now I go to the instance variable. The variable declared inside the class and outside the method is called instance variable. Got it? Class, class name. Inside the class, I declared a variable. Okay, that is called instance variable. But okay, so the variable declared inside the class, but outside the method is called instance class. Suppose a variable declared inside the method, that is local variable. A variable declared inside the class but outside the method, that is called instance variable. Understand the difference? Then what is the scope of this instance variable? So scope means where it can be accessed. It can be accessed in any method, constructor and blocks within that class. Local variable within that method. This is within that class. Instance variable is like global variable we discussed in other programming language in C or C++. Similar to that, instance variable declared inside the class but outside the method, but can be accessed in any method in the same class. That is the scope of the variable. Okay. So you can see an example here. This is an instance variable. Okay. See, I told this is a main method. This is very important. This is a main method. This is the place from where JVM is going to start execution. But static is a keyword used here. So the main method itself is static method. So the area inside the main method is a static area. Got it? And this one, a normal method, is an instance method. There is no static keyword here, so it's an instance method. The area inside the method is called instance area. Okay. Later, I will be telling you what is the need for this understanding about this area. Okay. When the memory is allocated for instance variable, memory is allocated when object is created. Okay. In the previous case for the local variable, memory is allocated when the particular method is called for execution. For this instance variable, when the memory is allocated, when the object is created for the particular class. Okay. By the time the memory is allocated and memory is released when the object is destroyed. When the object done its part, calling all the methods and executed, by the time object is destroyed, so the memory is also released by the time. During the object creation of the particular class, memory is allocated for the instance variable. Okay. Where it is actually stored? It is stored in the heap memory. Stored in the heap memory. So this is an in-depth understanding about the each and every variables. Okay. The previous case, memory is allocated during the when you're calling the method for execution. Once the method is completed, memory is released. For instance variable, when the object is created, say object creation is very important in class in Java because everything inside the class, no. So we have to create an object. By the time instance variable, memory is allocated and stored in the heap memory. Fine. See this. An instance variable or instance method, let it be. It can be directly we can access in the instance area. An instance variable instance method directly used in the instance area. Okay. We can access, but in static area we can access only by using a object reference variable. For creating an object, I am creating a reference variable. No, only with that we can able to access the instance variable or instance method inside the static area. But for the instance area, the instance variable or instance method can be directly used. That is a key thing you should understand. Okay, see this example. a class name. We have instance variable because it is created outside the method. So this is an instance variable. This is a instance method because this doesn't have a keyword called static, right? So this is a instance method. See what's happened. System.out.println, I'm trying to print the variable a, the variable b. I can directly use it because instance variable can be directly used in instance area. But main method, that is a main method. There is a static keyword, so this method is a static method. Main method only, but it is static main method. It's a main method, but by default there is static keyword, so it's static. So the area is static area. I told that inside the static area it can't be directly accessed. It can be accessed. The instance variable or a method can be accessed only the static area using the object reference variable. That is the reason the main method we are creating an object for this particular class. Test 3, T is a reference variable, new is a keyword, and this is a constructor. Now system.out.println T dot, I'm using that object reference variable to access the instance variable A. I'm using this object reference variable T to access the instance variable B. Please understand this. Got it? See, I'll show you some example here. See this example, the previous example also. Okay, let it be, leave it. Hmm, I'll create instance variable here. Integer, integer, x is equal to 100. Is an instance variable. Integer, y is equal to 200. Is an instance variable because this variable is created inside the class only, but outside the method, right? So this is a instance variable. This is an instance variable. This local variable inside the method, let it be, no problem. So this is the instance variable which is created inside the class but outside the method. This is the instance method. Okay, this method doesn't have a keyword called static, so this is an instance method. So this method is having a local variable already, that leave it. Now see, I'm going to do another thing, that is system.out.println, control C. I'm going to access this instance variable x plus y here. Is it possible? Yes, it's definitely possible because this is an instance variable, this is an instance method, so this is an instance area. So instance variable can be directly accessed in the instance area. No, this way this x can be directly used here, y can be directly used here. There's no problem at all. Okay, but if I want to uh, use this instance variable inside this static area, how it will be? See, suppose if I run this code, is calling this method m1. Inside the method, the local variable part is don't have any issue. Okay, so this particular one system out of println in order to execute this m1 here. See, I get an object here. This is an instance method. To access this instance method, we need this object. I told no, the PPT you can see to access a instance variable or instance method in a static area, we need an object reference variable. So that is the reason though this main method though this main method is a main method, but it's static. So this is a static area. Inside the static area, I am trying to access this instance method. So I need an object creation here. That's why the object is created here. Reference variable. With that only I'm accessing no. With that only I'm accessing no. See, even I can directly access. Okay, this part I will type it. I can directly access system order println x plus y. If I directly give this, it will throw error. If I give f dot x, it will accept. If I give f dot y, it will accept. Okay, I'm not confusing. See, I created an instance variable. Okay, the instance variable can be directly accessed in instance method. Instance variable can be directly accessed in a instance area. Okay, not a problem. This local variable, local method, that is the direct access, that is different. Instance variable can be directly accessed in a instance area. That's not a problem. But the same instance variable cannot be accessed in a static area directly. For that, I need to create a object. That's why I create an object with the reference variable only. I'm trying to access the instance variable in a static area. Not only instance variable, this is an instance method. Not access the instance method in a static area, you need to create an object. That's why with the help of this, I'm doing this. Okay, now I think you understood the area concept. Because of the area concept only, the things are actually working here. Control S, clear. Sorry, I just want clear. So Java C file name is test.java. You don't bother about this existing class is already available. Every time I'm overwriting now, so no need to worry. It will automatically overwrite. So I'm compiling it. So no errors. So Java test, the test, there is a class where the main method is available. When you run this, you can see what happened. First, it's calling the M1 method. The M1 method, this part is printed, and the instance variable a plus b, this part is printed. So, and finally, this statement, this also printed. So this is how an instance variable can be accessed directly in an instance area. An instance variable accessed in a static area with help of the object reference variable f dot x, f dot y. Hope you understood. See, suppose, see, if I'm removing this f, that is a reference variable. Okay, control S, save. Now I am compiling. See what's happening. Java C test dot Java. It's throwing error. It's throwing error. Where it throwing the error? In the line number 7. Cannot find the symbol x plus y. See, line number 7 is this part. This part it can't able to accept. It's not accepting this part. That is why it's showing an error. Got it? Because we are trying to access the instance variable directly in a static area. There is a problem. So if you access with help of the object f dot x, f dot y, okay. Now if I compile, there is no problem. Test is a file name dot java. So now no issues. Now if I run the class file which is having the main method, I'm getting the output. Okay, 30 belongs to this 300 belongs to this 300 belongs to this.